Welcome to Art, Life, and Pixels. Just to let you know and apologize for the fact that my mic did not work on the day. My wireless mic, I don't think was charged enough and didn't record. So you just have the audio recording from the camera, which is okay, but not great. So next time I will know. Thanks. Let's get back to the video. Ready. Maybe we're ready, but yes, we're ready. we're gonna look at this, but start tweaking them. But I thought I'd start with, instead of just diving in, maybe choose one or two to get me started, because it's a little overwhelming to look at everything and dive in. So I'm going to take a look and maybe choose two that I will work on straight away. So, okay, so let me see if I'm gonna be honest here. There's a lot of shiny parts, and I bet you can see it on camera because I can see it in real life. The acrylic paints are definitely drying shinier than obviously the flash paints, which I did describe as being matte and opaque. There are some, by the way, just this little parentheses, there are some transparent flash paints, but I would say the majority of them are opaque. So you could see here that some of the colors are really shiny. So I want to sort of work with that or work against that. We'll see what happens. So let's see if we can put all these out and have a look. If something strikes my fancy, oh, maybe this one. Sometimes you look at it with different eyes the next day, the next week, as it were, and you choose something different based on that. So I'll see if I can see where the camera is so we can see everybody. I'm curious which ones you would choose. I'm gonna choose this one first. And maybe this one. Okay, so we're gonna choose these two to work on first of all. So that'll get us going at least a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna put this one on the side, but I'm going to work with them one at a time. I might put some washi tape down because they are a little curly, so that won't stick to my final piece. So there you go. All right, put that there for now. Okay, so I've already poured out in this area some of the glazing medium, and guess what? This one worked. That's good on me for having tightened the lid enough. I'm going to start out with this brush, my soft round brush, and I did also squeeze out a bit of this Naples yellow red light. So this is on my palette right here. I am going to put my brush in the water first, just because I'm used to that, but not too much. And I have my paper towel here in case. So the idea here, I'm going to put some of this glazing medium and some of it in my color. Let's try something different. I'm not gonna try the bigger brush, but I might try my flat. I think it's 1/2 inch flat. Let's see what I could do mark wise with no this time I'm not going to add any of the medium. I'm just going to, oh yeah, okay. I like the bristly nature of this brush because the other one is very soft. So maybe let's take advantage of this. Am I being too precise? Oh, probably. But you know what? Let's try. Try a little bit here. I noticed when I was doing the last version, or the darker value version on top of my light, I was doing very horizontal or vertical wipes with my catalyst wedge. There's something a lot more exciting about doing curves and brush strokes that don't necessarily follow up or down, vertical, horizontal. I'm doing some of my squiggles to see what would happen. I'm not totally in love with that part anymore. So let's see. Let's see what this does. Oh, So this is that faux wood wedge. Obviously, some of the paint has dried. So I just went a little crazy there, but let's see how we can bring back a little yellow, bring back a little pink. Happy accident or not, let's not constrain ourselves, I guess. Okay, so I think I'm gonna let that dry for a bit. Okay, so this is our second piece that we're gonna work on. So maybe I'm gonna just do this. You know, like you have this technique of dry brushing. This is almost like dry rolling. See, as much as I put green on this one, I put a lot of the white or the lighter shade with the pink. So let's see what we can do here. I decided not to. Oh, okay. I decided not to tape it down this time. Using some. Yeah, I was telling myself was not going to use the color shaper, but it seems to be coming back. So this is the 1-inch color shaper. I like this. The graphic designer in me is like a little bit freaking out because there's only 2 marks now. See, I've got technically 2 round shapes. In order for this to work for me in my head, I need a 3rd one. I'm going to use the red. Let's see what we can do, but make it smaller. So my gut feeling right now is don't touch it. So I'm going to put this one aside. Let that dry. All right, so now maybe we worked up enough courage to go in with something else now. So these are 2. I'm going to choose the next 2. I've got some red ochre and some yellow ochre on here. I'm not taking it off. I'm going to keep it, but I'm going to add some of the very light value that I have on my palette here, which is the Amsterdam paint. So technically I have 1 acrylic that's gonna dry shiny and 2 colors from the flash paint that are gonna dry matte. So they're all 3 of them on this paint shaper. So let's see what happens. So I'm going to mix them together. Let's see. But now I've got a lot of the light. So here, I like where this is going. I'm not going to add, I kind of want to add green, but I don't want to add green. I'm gonna let this dry and see what else we can do. Now I'm going in a whole other direction. So you see what happens? Because I did something on one thing, it's informing the next one. So this one's gonna have to come back and look completely different, or I'm gonna have to, although I have some of the shape here, it's just the way I've applied it. And the coloring has muddied up, so I'm not completely satisfied with that. But we'll come back to this. We'll come back because the shapes are melted into each other, while something like this, you can see defined shapes there. You can definitely see that. So I guess that's this one that we just did. So definitely is a direction I'd like to go in. So I'll let that dry. But on this one, there is something quite thick here on this area. So it's lifted because of the amount of paint that's on it. So I'm gonna have to let that one dry for quite a while before I go back to it. See, I went in and got some of the Rose de Parme. Let's see if we can, because there's not a lot of rose in this one. There's a lot more of the ochre red and the yellow and the green. So by doing that, by adding the pink, I've related them back to each other. Actually, what I can do is there. Because this one ended up getting a bit muddied. So that one we will also put aside. I've got two more left. So these two possibly need to have one major shape. That's possibly the way forward on this one. I'm not going to use the small paint shaper. For that, I'm going to use the larger paint shaper, but I've got the wrong color on here. Although I could probably do it. So the tendency is to do one big shape in the middle, but that's not what I'm going to do. I'm going to, from the bottom here to here. And I've already said, I don't really mind that I've gone over here, because once I've scanned these, I'll be able to fix them up with Photoshop and frame them out a lot better. I'll let that dry. Okay, lots of green. So again, not going to use a lot of green, but might now use a lot of the light color as my major mark in the middle. So I don't have any more, so let's squeeze a little bit out here. I shall use my big paint shaper. Well, you see how things went? I thought I was going to use all those tools, and at the end of the day, my paint shaper became the thing. And I'm going to do this way. Do sort of like right angle ideas here, or semicircles that have turned the space lighter. At least these are a bit more forgiving, simply because you can go back in. Well, I'm not going to say you can go back in 15 minutes later, but you can go back in and scrape. So now, maybe because I have so much light on this one, perhaps it's time to see what we can do to lighten the inside out. Yeah. Sort of like layering it. Okay, that's good. So now we're going to have to go, see now, because I've got the light color on my paint shaper, I want to add it somewhere here. Let's see. Okay. Now I just realized that I have two shapes rather than the three. So I'm just going to do this. I don't need it to be a shape exactly like it. I just need an extra of that color. Right down. It is my first one, or was it the first one? No, it was the second one that I feel that I've messed up. We want this series to have some running thread through them, whether it be, in this case, I'm going to go with the backgrounds are all busy, different layers, a lot of horizontal marks and a lot of vertical marks. The shapes that have emerged from the top are very organic and round. I gotta do less talking and more action here. Again, we're back with the one that we're having most difficulty with. That's okay. Now I've added the yellow, but it no longer has the dark values in the back because of, or at least they're still there, but they've been covered up. All the other ones seem to have enough green. So I'm going to add golden green from Triart. And I'm going to go with the smaller paint shaper in this case. So we're going to take some of this golden green. All right, so I'm going to put this one actually aside. So this, maybe it'll be a series of 5. But you know what? I'm being hard on myself, so I don't want to do that. I'm going to give myself a little bit of grace and tell myself that this can be improved, but not right now. It's not giving me any inspiration. So yeah, sometimes turning it around, but even turning it around is not really doing it for me. So I'm going to put that one aside for now. But let's see what the other ones ended up being. And I do like them. I'm going to say this is my second least favorite. Can be improved, but I'm going to put that one also aside. Still got good bones, as they say, but I'm not sure it's as successful as the other ones, because these are my favorite 3. My favorite 3. And we've got this one in this position. They're actually in the order in which I like them. And then the one I like the least that we need to work on. So for now, that's it, my friends. I will leave that there. And maybe we will do a video for these 2, how we save these 2. But I think otherwise we're on a good path forward. Thank you so very much for watching the video, and I hope you will join me in the 3rd installment where we will finalize these 6 mini paintings. In the meantime, please feel free to subscribe, like, or comment. It helps the channel, it helps me, and it's totally free. Thank you so much. See you soon.